If Facebook had an AI tool for creating ads that was far more powerful than ChatGPT, Bing, or any of these other ad platforms, do you think a lot of marketers would be using it? Well, that's the crazy thing, because such a tool exists. It will save you a ton of time, is completely free, and will create better ads for your business and your customers as well. Yet most marketers on Facebook aren't actually taking advantage of this tool. And of course, I'm talking about dynamic creative ads. And before any of the Facebook ads veterans click off because they think dynamic creative ads are just a way to bundle your top assets together and scale, I want to ask you a couple of questions. Are you finding that you're spending a lot of time each week creating ads to test? Do you find that the ads you do find to win don't really last that long? They have ad fatigue quite often? And are the CPMs on your account rising over time? Because not only is using dynamic creative ads a forward-thinking way of structuring your Facebook ad accounts, it also solves all of these problems. You see, dynamic creatives remove the element of human opinion on choosing what creative, copy, headline, and call to action work best together. Instead, you provide a bunch of assets that you think are good, allow Facebook to combine them, and armed with its AI with billions of data points, it's going to predict which ones are the best. Already a massive win. But then there's also a second step involved where AI is paired with machine learning that derives data from direct feedback of people on that actual platform, how they're responding to those ad combinations in real time. And it doesn't stop there, because those ads, even if they're bad, can share the learnings they've had ultimately back to that dynamic creative ad, so that your best combinations that are going to last longer and not fatigue are going to emerge as the top ads and gain the most spend. And in contrast, even if you were to follow lots of expert advice and set up 4 or 5 ads in an ad set with creative, copy, headline that you would determine to be the best headline, and that is the best practice. I'm not saying 4 or 5 ads is not good, but you've set them up manually, and by doing that, you're leaving the chances of those combinations you've selected being good, being a winner, purely up to luck. And sure, you might get lucky, but you're always going to be in a back foot from someone who can take those same assets, dump them into a dynamic creative ad, and make hundreds of combinations backed by AI, meaning you're not spreading your budget too thinly. Because ultimately, you could probably test far more combinations of ads in your ad set. I think it's up to 50 ads in an ad set. You could test 50 ads if you want in that ad set, but your budget's going to settle on a couple of those ads, and you're probably going to spread that budget thinly by taking little bits here and there away from those best ads to spread across the other ads. Versus dynamic creative, where the AI is determining we're not even going to give any money to this combination, because we know from all our data points it's just not going to work and we're not going to like it anyway, so we're not going to give it a good quality score in the auction, okay? So dynamic creatives give you that benefit, but also there's the inverse of what I mentioned earlier, where those individual ads you created are individual ads. They can't share their learnings with the overall ad, because there is no overall ad. They're just individual ad sets. So whereas a dynamic creative can take the learnings of the different combinations it's firing away with the AI first of all, and then the actual feedback from the platform, if something's good, it can share the learnings. If something's bad, it can share the learnings, which ultimately feeds into whatever top ad you have created. If I take 4 individual ads, they are 4 individual ads. If they find something initially, they start to work, they start to get traction, and an ad emerges, maybe it is just the best ad, but there could be still things that the ads that are poorer combinations, are learning about the combinations that it would be good for them to share with that top combination. And maybe that top combination would change slightly. Maybe it's something as small as just changing the CTA, okay? So that process can't happen with individual ads, but with a dynamic creative ad, you can share that data from all the hundreds of different combinations that are going out with whatever emerges as your top ad. So it's built on a lot more data, a lot more learnings than pure human guesswork. Now, if you're like me, that probably all sounds pretty good. And in my opinion, the fact that dynamic creative ads alone are just simply better, have more data, should be a justifiable reason to be using them in your creative testing, over above doing it manually with individual ads. But if it was a more complicated or longer process to set them up or work with these, I could maybe understand why Facebook media buyers wouldn't be using them for creative testing. But that's the thing, dynamic creatives actually make your life so much easier and make your ability to create ads a lot faster, because rather than having to set up each individual ad, build that ad, different copy, headline, creative, even if you're duplicating it, you're still not going to be as fast as someone who just creates one dynamic creative ad, dumps all the creatives into it one time. They're just doing that copy, creative, and headline once, call to action once, and then they're having to upload each individual creative. But because you're doing it as a dynamic creative as well, you can upload like 5, 10 creatives at one time. So you're saving a bunch of time by using dynamic creative ads. And then when it comes to reviewing them, you're obviously not having to look at multiple different ads. You're looking at the one overall. Did that overall ad set with the ads in it, with the dynamic creative ad in it, perform? Yes. Okay, now I'm going to look into it further. No, fine, I'm going to scrap it. It just saves you a whole bunch of time. And finally, there's the cost benefit of dynamic creatives. So I mentioned earlier the cheaper CPMs, and before someone comments, saying, I've got a cheaper CPM with my ad set of individual ads than a dynamic creative ad, I'm not talking about the CPMs of any individual ad set. We're talking about the CPM of your overall account over time. Because if you've watched any of my previous videos, you may have heard me mention about the actual equation that is happening on every single ad that is in the Facebook ads auction, okay? So every single ad has a specific equation. If you don't know what I'm talking about, after this, definitely go and watch one of the videos. I'll leave one in the description that talks about this, because it's quite interesting to know and will help you make better creatives, knowing how the platform actually works. But anyway, that aside, there is this part of the equation where the ad quality is looked at, and that's based on feedback from the platform, but also the AI within Facebook determining what ads it sees as being good quality ads, okay? So over time, if your ads are low in quality, that is going to factor into that equation, and your CPMs are going to rise because you're not being a good partner to Facebook. You're not providing good assets for their users, assets that they like, and as a result, they're going to charge you more for that. But if you're using a dynamic creative ad, obviously we're taking that into account. So your CPMs still could be higher if you're not providing good ads, but they're not going to be as high as your individual ads, because you're forcing Facebook to use ads that you have determined the combinations are that you want to use, not the combinations that they like the best and that the feedback from the platform is determining are the best combinations. So you're going to pay for that in higher CPMs, which at first might not be that much, but over time, the full account, if you're always doing the same process, you'll see those two paths diverge, where people using dynamic creative ads for their testing are going to have lower CPMs, because ultimately the ads they're using, the winners they find from that process, that all their top scaling spend goes towards, are just better ads that Facebook likes better, have higher quality in their opinion in that in that equation on every single ad in the auction, and they get the benefit of that in cost savings. So I think that's enough of me rambling on about dynamic creative ads. Essentially, they're good, guys. Start using them, utilize that AI that Facebook is providing you. But of course, I'm going to jump onto the actual platform now just quickly and show you how you would set up a dynamic creative ad. I'm not going to go super in detail into this, and I'm not going to show you any strategy. I'm just going to show you purely how you would set it up. But if you want to see some strategy on how you do that, I do have another video where I show you my full strategy of running Facebook ads that involves the testing element of creatives using dynamic creative ads. So that's linked in the description as well. Go watch that video, because it's going to give you the strategy, and you'll probably see how to set up the ads. But if you want to see how to set them up, see what I'm referring to when I'm talking about dynamic creative ads, let's jump onto Ads Manager now and show you that process just really quickly. Right, so this is Ads Manager, and I've just created a new campaign. Everything would be the same in this first section, but once you come to the ad set level, so when you're doing your ad set, and you scroll down to this section here, Dynamic Creative, so you would do everything as you do normally, but you come and check this button on, you get the prompt here, okay, just click Continue. That is now a dynamic creative ad set with dynamic creative ads inside it, okay? And what that means is if I try and come and duplicate this, so duplicate this, duplicate ad set, so that's trying to duplicate the ad set. Let me just do the shortcut, Control So I'm not able to duplicate this ad because it's using dynamic creative. You can only have one dynamic creative ad in a dynamic creative ad set, because obviously you're putting all your individual ads or your individual combinations into that one ad, and it's using the AI and the machine learning to generate different ads from that. Okay, so that's why you can't have multiple different individual ads, because of dynamic creative, by the very nature of it, all that information is happening within this one ad. So like I said, it can share all the learnings and populate it into that ad, okay? So you'd come in, set up everything as you do normally, and then what you can do is you can come in, select the images, or videos, select images or videos, choose a bunch of them you want. One thing I will say is don't mix and match images and videos, okay? If you're using a dynamic creative ad, have it all different videos or have it all different images. Don't mix and match them, because images and videos behave differently, okay? So it's going to skew your results. You can come in, and I recommend unchecking this, because otherwise you create tons and tons of different variations of different crop sizes, which could be good, but I prefer to have it off and have less variations, have less combinations by doing that. I'm in Greece at the moment, that's why mine is turned to Greek writing, so don't worry about any of that kind of stuff. And I keep multi-advertiser ads checked on too. But again, guys, I explain all this kind of stuff in other videos. I just wanted to show you that this is now a dynamic creative ad. Let me just select some images just to show you. So we'd probably select a couple of them. Let's just take image. So there's 3 for now. You know, I can have multiple ones. Then I come and write some text, blah, blah, blah. Add another text option, blah, blah, blah. Add a headline, blah, blah, blah. You know, blah, blah, blah. You could have up to 10 creatives, 5 text, 5 headlines. You don't want to do that, and I explain that in other videos. I never really use the description part. I don't really see the benefit in it. Add your one URL that you normally use, and then add your call to actions. Again, 1 call to action, maximum 2. Don't use too many variations. And then maybe add your URL parameters, okay? You'd hit publish. That is now a dynamic creative ad. Everything I've been talking about previously in the video will be happening within that. You don't need to do anything. You will need to come and review it, but again, that would be too long for this video. I go into that in depth in other videos. It's a really long video, so go and watch that and you can learn this full process. This is just to show you dynamic creatives are brilliant. That's how they work. That's how you set them up. Okay guys, that's the end of the video. I do hope you've enjoyed it, and like I said earlier in the video, if you want to go watch my video on the strategy, see dynamic creative testing in use, that video is linked in the description. Definitely give them a shot. You know, it is utilizing Facebook's powerful AI, tons of data points. I have had fantastic success using dynamic creative ads over the last year in certain accounts, and then maybe, I don't know, 5 months ago I moved to fully testing with dynamic creative ads. Okay, so it works. I do it all the time. My clients see success. It's tried and tested. Give it a shot, guys. And I will see you in another video very, very soon.